doing? Basically, this sounds easy, but it's really hard to do. We're pushing down the fake news, we're demoting it, and we are increasing the authoritative news and promoting it. How do we do that? We have a whole system. We came up with trashy news where we have build classifiers, we identify it, we look for salacious, for clickbait, content that isn't, that we don't think is the authoritative news. It's just kind of encouraging people to look at, but it's not true. We're training, we added these instructions to our raters, and we've updated our classifiers, and we are working to understand, identify that with machine learning, and then to push that down.
This episode of Just Informed Talk, I sit down with the Google whistleblower, Mr. Zach Voorhees, and he's going to tell us all about Google's secret projects, including their AI projects known as DeepMind, which Q has told us about, but we're going to dive even deeper into what it can be used for and how it will eventually be weaponized by these big tech sensors and used against you and me. So you guys are going to want to stick around to check this out. And welcome to Just Informed Talk. Today we have a very special guest. You guys don't need to hear me say his name out loud because there are Google speech to text algorithms that could pick it up and might actually take this video offline, but he is known as the Google whistleblower, and he is here with us today. So let's get into your knowledge of Project DeepMind. What is DeepMind? Can we get into that? Because this is relevant to my audience, and I think who's going to be watching this video. We want to know more about where that came from. Is Dragonfly fake? Was that a head fake by Google to get people looking in one direction when
it
should have been
looking? It was really interesting because so let's rewind back to 2018. I had delivered 950 pages to Project Veritas, explaining how the whole system of censorship worked. And, then nothing kind of happened for a while, but then my handler came back and said, "Yo, man, what about Project Dragonfly?" And my response to him was, I have no idea what Project Dragonfly is. I've looked for it. I can't find any information on it. It doesn't seem to really exist, but I have all of this information on machine learning fairness, like who made it, like how long it was incubating at Stanford for, like the contributors, like this whole network of people that was involved in this machine learning fairness censorship regime. And I said, but I can't find a thing about Project Dragonfly. So, yeah, but then I see that Q's been posting about it and said that it was given over to China or something. My personal opinion, having worked within the company and researching what its activities were, I believe that Project Dragonfly is fake. And the reason, and another clue to this happened after I left the company, and that
so hold on,
came out.
that's a big statement. Let me just kind of stop you there for a second and say, so if Project Dragonfly is fake, let's go on that premise and just kind of go down this path with you for a second. That doesn't negate the fact that Google was working with the Chinese on a mass censorship search algorithm.
That's correct.
Okay, so what we're talking about is not that the project itself was Dragonfly was fake, but Q may have obviously used that colloquial term to refer to it because it was the popular term that the people were grasping onto. But is there any connection to a project that was also named Deep Dream? And do you know anything about that? I think that's more centered out of Twitter. So I don't know.
Man, that's something that we're researching, that my team is researching right now, because Deep Dream was a really interesting project that made these really trippy LSD-like videos. That was, that you can find them on YouTube. In fact, if you just type in Deep Dream Google, and what it does is it's a machine learning algorithm that is trained to find certain things in images. So it will tell you how much of an image contains a cat. Like 100%, it's like totally a cat. If it's 0%, it's definitely not like a cat that it recognizes. And so Deep Dream was able to generate these, and to generate these images, because what they would do is that they would take the images input, they would feed it into the algorithm, and then the algorithm would kind of come up with a representation in its mind about how the image looked and how it kind of looked like a cat. Well, you could take that image and kind of flatten it into pixels and then add that back to the picture. And if you keep on repeating this process, then what happens is that you get like, dog faces out of, what is essentially noise. And as it keeps on cycling through, that image of a dog face gets like more stronger and stronger and stronger. And then people do things like they can like zoom in on the video.
Now, to get even deeper, what do you think about the AI Manhattan Project? What do you think that they're talking about when they talk about this? We've talked about the abilities of Deep Dream and how it can be used for these deep fakes. What do you think this Manhattan Project is referring to?
So this Manhattan Project, known as DeepMind, has produced the best Go and chess players in the world. And it has developed, as one of its many technologies, something called transferable AI. So usually when you grow an AI to solve a particular problem, it is only going to solve that problem. So for example, your AI that can play chess can't play checkers. It just doesn't know how to do it. It'll make the wrong moves. And so one of the key technologies that they have is, hey, let's build a neural net and then retrain it for a related problem. And so that was one of their key technologies that they have been able to do. They're experts in these neural networks.
So here's a great question then. As for what I do, I'm on YouTube creating content, and I'm very aware that there are algorithms. I know there's speech to text. I know they're combing through all of the content that's created, and they're looking for keywords. They're looking for all of these different markers. Is the machine, because I used to get these emails when I used to talk to Google, to YouTube all the time. I'd write to Google basically, and we'd be having these conversations, and I'd be like, look, this is happening on YouTube. They're taking my videos. They're not suggesting them. They're doing this. They're doing that. It's not fair. And they would always say, it's the machine learning. We don't know. It's the machine learning.
Yeah.
So they pawn a lot of this off on the machine learning as if they have no control over the creating it. They're obviously creating it, but to what extent do you think that we're coming to this kind of threshold where it's like you're talking about with I think we talked about this earlier with chess. I don't know if it was here or not, but and how the AI it goes and it does all of the scenarios on its own, and then it goes and plays the world's top player and it beats them because it's already gone and played a bajillion games of chess and it knows every scenario.
Right.
And so at what point do they really fine tune it enough, and have they done that? I think with YouTube yet. I don't think they fine tuned it perfectly, but I mean, they're definitely working on this as far as, giving it some sort of scope to go out and actually be more autonomous and to just act as it will. I mean, you saw the videos. I mentioned the whistleblower's name and my video gets taken down. You told me I mentioned your name, and who knows what will happen. I'm sure my computer will blow up. So I'm just, I'm trying to figure out how bad is it and where does it go from here?
I mean, it's a form of liability laundering. So, it's like Google had blacklists, and they're going to continue to have blacklists. But these blacklists are going to be hidden in convoluted machine learning networks that no one can decipher how they actually work. It will be almost like a mystical, mechanical Turk.
The Oracle of Google says you are not allowed.
Exactly, right? Like, we don't know how the box works, right? And good luck trying to convict an algorithm of discrimination. There has to be like a person behind the thing doing it for you to have an actual cause, because you can bring that person to court and you can be like, are you racist? And they're like, hell yeah, I'm racist. And then it's like, well, I rest my case. But you can't do that with like an algorithm. It's much harder. You can't cross-examine an algorithm. Hell, people don't even know how it works if it's a machine learning neural network, because like as a software engineer, I can't even tell you how a neural network works.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, most neurologists have a very limited understanding of how the brain works. They say they've mapped the whole brain, but to understand how each neuron interacts with one another is almost impossible. And it seems, if we're talking about neurons and these pathways, that AI is basically building these brains, right? And the brains themselves seem to be evolving on their own. I mean, this is crazy. This may be the end of humanity. What do you think about that?
No, it literally could be the end of humanity. Like you're 100. That's just why I blew the whistle.
I was being facetious, but not
no,
really.
I'm serious.
Not really.
Like I'm serious.
No, I mean not really.
Yeah, but not really. Like we have an AI system now that probably exists somewhere in skunkworks somewhere, and it is going to be able to outsmart anyone in everything that they do. And what are we going to do with that? Like, who's going to be the first to have it? Now, according to Google's cloud AI person, Fifi Lee, who's coincidentally building the AI research center in Beijing, right? She said that when it comes to Google's AI technology, the company doesn't have borders or boundaries. Okay, whoa, like
No, we will all be slaves to this global hegemony of AI gods who live in their servers in protected bunkers.
Being run out of
Antarctica,
China, of all places, right?
Yeah, being run out of China. I don't know, man. I mean, look, it sounds dystopian. It sounds Orwellian. It sounds like some bleak future, but we are here, and it is today. And there has to be some sort of pushback. So I'm glad that you're coming forward. I mean, let's be honest. What you're doing is important. The fact is, this is a fight for humanity as we know it. It will change drastically and almost we won't be able to go back after this. The horse won't go back in the barn. Everything will be out there. And it seems like we're really heading down a dark path. So
no, don't be pessimistic.
Well, no, that's what that's what I was about to pivot to, is that it seems like we're heading down a dark path. What do you think? Ways we can kind of stand up to this, fight it? Because I know what we're doing here on this channel is we're standing up against censorship and oppression, and we're actually putting a light on a lot of these dark issues that people don't want to talk about. And I know you're doing the same thing. You've been working with Project Veritas. You got your own things going on, and you're really focused on health, and that's great. We want to get people healthy. And so let's talk about some positive things, kind of wrap this all up.
Right, how we can give you a positive thing.
Yes, go.
All right. So it turns out that I caught Google hiding a website devoted to a new form of clean nuclear energy. You've probably heard it named as cold fusion, or chemical assisted nuclear reaction, or low energy nuclear reaction. But there's a device made by an engineer by the name of Andre Rossi. He's been working on it for over a decade. He has had this machine tested by a third-party analyst who's internationally known, and the results of this positive confirmation of a 30-day test was posted at Cornell University. This guy has discovered and engineered a reactor type that works off a combination of palladium and a heavy form of hydrogen known as deuterium or deuterium. And a website that follows his technology is called ecatworld.com. Now, they don't just post about Rossi's machine. They actually post about a bunch of different cold fusion related startups. But Andre Rossi's, the one they talk the most about, and Andre Rossi seems to be the most advanced in this field. And so when I was at Google, I noticed that around November, this website was delisted. eCat World was delisted from the Google search index, and they relisted at .org, and they made it like a note saying, hey, we've been delisted off of Google. We don't understand what's going on, but we're trying to get it resolved. And I went, well, I work at Google, so I can get an inside look at what is really going on. So I find out that they've been blacklisted from Google's search index because, according to a bug that I saw, and by the way, this has been disclosed as part of my 950 pages at Project Veritas, that this website was censored on October 2nd, 2017. Now let me ask you, what happened October 1st, 2017?
Refresh my memory.
Las Vegas shooting massacre.
Wow.
Okay, so on the 2nd, October 2nd, the CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, says, oh my God, code red emergency. There's a whole bunch of fake news that's out there on the internet, and we've got to like block it from people because it's just so bad, right? So they created this block list, October 2nd. What do they put on that? They put on a whole bunch of links to ISIS, claiming that they were responsible for, the shooting. They did a whole bunch of other stuff like multiple shooters, stuff talking about Stephen Paddock, but then also eCat World, which doesn't ever talk about current events other than this cold fusion. Well, someone had put in a fake URL where this cold fusion website was mistakenly, as if it was talking about Stephen Paddock and the Las Vegas shooting. So it got entered onto that blacklist, and it got taken off of the internet for this reason. Okay.
Was that permanent? Was that permanent?
It was permanent. I found it. I bugged the hell out of them. I used the word, this could be corporate espionage. And someone, a lawyer got mad at me for saying that, by the way, but someone within the company was able to correct the problem, and ecatworld.com is now again on the internet and listed by the Google search index. And so I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, why would somebody go to this sophisticated hack to take down what Wikipedia says is a debunked theory of fraudulent scientists? And I'm like, why are they so like constant? Like, why did someone put so much energy to take this website down? And then I started to realize, wait a minute, like as I started doing my research, whoa, maybe this cold fusion isn't actually like a fake concept. Maybe it's actually like a real concept. And as I started going further and further, I realized, no, cold fusion is actually real. And
yeah, I mean, and conceptually, it's definitely been something that's been around for a while. And
yeah.
I'd be interested to learn more about this, but that is a positive thing to take away, that, we're at least shining a light on this stuff, because it happens in all different forms and fashions, whether it's with the new technology that could help us, or it's with censoring our free speech in other ways. I mean, ultimately, what you did is a service, and I thank you for that. And I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there, because we're kind of hitting that mark. But let me just tell you, thank you so much for your contribution to all this. I hope that you'll come on the show again, and I want you to take a second to go ahead and plug anything that you want, your social media, any websites, whatever you want to get out there. Let the people know what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Craig. Yeah. What I say is that I hope that your audience will follow me on Twitter. My handle is Perpetual Maniac. I am fighting the deep state. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm bringing attention to Google, which I believe is an asset of the deep state, and I'm exposing what Google is doing. I believe that they're going to rig the 2020 election. They're going to hide information. They're going to, and you can already see this with Twitter. Twitter now just canceled all political ads on its platform. Google is going to do something similar. So is Facebook. I've been bringing this attention to this issue since the summer of 2019 here, because I saw what was going to happen with these social media giants. I knew that they were going to interfere with the will of the people. They were going to engage in election interference. And so I'm here. I am exposing this. You too can come follow me, tweet very specific tweets that I'm making in order to expose this to a wider audience, and it's working. People are waking up. The media is changing its wording and the words that they choose to use in the different articles that they post. People are becoming aware of Google's systemic censorship. And so for those of you that want to help me keep America safe from this tech fascism, I invite you to follow me on twitter.com/perpetualmaniac and like and retweet the tweets that are important to helping disclose that.
Yeah, and I'll put links to all of that in the description of this video that you guys should go check out, because everyone knows our friend Zach here, who I'm not going to say his full name because of Google's algorithms. He is the man. He is awesome. Thank you so much, Zach, for coming on. Remember, that's at Perpetual Maniac. Go find him on Twitter and start the conversation over there as well. But we'll look forward to hearing what you guys have to say in the comments down below. But that's going to be it for us here. Thank you, Zach, so much. We wish you the best, and you are welcome on this show anytime, my friend. We're definitely going to have you on again, especially in the run-up to the 2020 election. You get more coverage of what's going on with Google. But thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Craig. You too.